Stop right there. I know you've seen it, my fellow found footage fanatic friend. You've seen this. Everybody in the cult has seen this movie, but we're in the echo chamber. You know, we all talk about it all the time as if it's like this staple movie, this standard thing we see in our rotation. But outside of our echo chamber, people haven't seen this. It's basically underground. The thing about that then is that, you know, as people who want to sort of evangelize on the word that is found footage and this movie in particular, this indie darling, we need to be careful to tell people how to watch it, because I watched it the wrong way, inadvertently. Now, my friend, you may have complained about that first hour. I mean, many of us do, because if you've seen it more than once, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense that it's structured the way it is without giving anything away. And we'll get into it in a little bit, but I will say that the structure of the first hour has a secret that makes the ending work. That last act, we wouldn't even care about that last act if it wasn't for that first hour. So I'm going to dive into how that's structured. I got to tell you, I kind of wish I could see it again for the first time. Now, I mentioned I'd seen it the wrong way. I've seen this movie 4 times. I saw it once just, you know, independently at one point. Then once again when I wanted to do a written review. And then once again when I wanted to do a kind of a big breakdown video, which I'd worked on forever and took off the channel. So it was just kind of a pain in the ass. And so now, again, 4th time, it's not the same, man. You know, it's like, you ever have something like you could wish you could experience again for the first time? Like, I wish I could play Skyrim for the first time. And the first time I played Skyrim, I remember like I couldn't get past the first 15 minutes because I was so used to Oblivion. You know, polygons scare me, right? And eventually I got past it, and now I know every nook and cranny of Skyrim. I've done every quest. I've done I know the lore like the back of my hand. I could officiate weddings in Whiterun at this point. I know this game. And so it's over for me. And so this movie's the same for me a little bit. I'm at a point where God damn, I never want to watch it again. But for those who haven't seen it, oh my God, you're in for a treat. So hi, my name's CJ, and I am your movie god for the Found Footage broadcast. If you've subscribed to the channel, then you are already a member of the cult of the movie god. So welcome, my Found Footage fanatic friend. Hit the button below, you know the one, and roll the intro. Here we go. Today we're doing Horror in the High Desert. Horror in the High Desert. Now, as I mentioned, if you are a found footage fanatic, then you've seen this. We've all seen this. This is one of those things that you can't avoid. People talk about it constantly because of the shocking turn. But we're going to get into the anatomy of why we care. Because what really hit me upon this 4th viewing of the movie is how, taken in isolation, that last little stretch is not all that impressive, but in context of the larger movie, boy, does it work. It's singular. So let's talk about this micro budget. It's set up like a true crime documentary, and it's strongly inspired by a real life disappearance, actually. Have you ever heard of the legend of the M Cave and Kenny Veach? Kenny Veach was a guy who liked to go out in the desert. He did a lot of solo hiking, and he had discovered this M-shaped cave that was very mysterious, had weird vibes, and made him feel funny. He said he was going to go back out there and record it and locate it, and he couldn't find it, and then he disappeared, and it's been this great big mystery. The truth behind Kenny has kind of come out, but most true crime aficionados don't like to dwell on what probably really happened with Kenny. It's a little sad story. In this case, however, we're talking about a fictional character called Gary Hinge. Sorry, I hate to break it to you guys. This was a found footage movie, not an actual documentary. Even though it's set up very much like a conventional documentary that has like 3 acts, basically. It has interviews and then more interviews and then 3rd act, the reason you're actually here. It's a lot. This takes a long time to warm up. Actual cold cases have been solved in the time that this movie takes to warm up. But the first hour isn't really boring. I mean, upon repeated viewings, it might seem that way, but on the first viewing, maybe even the second, it's hypnosis. See, boring is when nothing happens. Hypnosis is when nothing happens on purpose. It lulls you into a certain pace, a certain slow pace. And they mostly do this by talking about how wonderful Gary is. Oh my God, isn't Gary just a wonderful guy? See, he liked hiking and trains. So, I mean, amazing guy. You have no idea how much time we spend talking about how incredible Gary was. And the reporter's like, the more I looked into this, the more impressed I was with Gary. He was just such I don't care, Gary, because here's the thing. Gary, on one of his hikes, finds a cabin way out in the middle of nowhere, and it gave him some spooky vibes. He mentions it on his blog, and people, for whatever reason, say, you did not find a cabin. I would believe anything but you finding a cabin. That's ridiculous. And people are very mean about it, I guess, because finding a cabin is unbelievable. And so he decides to go back out to find this cabin and is never seen or heard from again. Okay. Now, as we're getting this story described, we see a lot of desert photography, a lot of stock footage of the desert, and it's legitimately gorgeous. And we see like ghost towns and little places that Gary discovered that he doesn't want to reveal where it is because, you know, you would get injured trying to get there. So, but it amazing stuff. It's like a tourism ad for places you're not allowed to go. You know, it's pretty great. And yeah, according to the interviews, Gary loved hiking, he loved trains, and as far as I can tell, was the first guy ever to be nice. But after having been gone for a while and the search having given up, a reporter approaches his sister saying, hey, like, let's get involved. Let's draw some attention to his case. And of course, his sister thinks that would be far too helpful, and she just shuns the reporter. Gary's sister, I don't know what her problem is. She does everything she can to screw things up. She finds out that Gary had a video on his blog that had some really critical information that would really help. And so in her excitement, she deleted it. How do you manage that? It's freaking frustrating, woman. Frustrating. Anyway, one day after the search has been called off, Gary's truck appears. It's just on the side of the road, and the only clue involved at all is that somebody with bare feet seems to have driven it to where it is and then walked off into the desert again. No other clues. Very, very strange. But this at least sort of communicated that, yeah, Gary might have passed away. I mean, this doesn't look good for Gary. And then a little while later, some campers in the area wake up one morning and Gary's backpack is in the middle of their camp. They have no idea how it got there. And inside is Gary's severed hand. So, okay, Gary's dead. And in that hand is a video camera. And the video camera is Gary's last moments on Earth. So that is where our third act comes in. And there's not really a lot to say about that third act. Like, I won't spoil it, of course. Everything I do here is spoiler free, so I'm not going to get into it. But I will say that ultimately what it comes down to is Gary's the bad guy. Like, that's not the impression you get the first time you watch it. The first time you watch it is, oh my God, that is freaky. Oh my God, what's going on? And there's a big conflict, and that's all I'll say about it. But the second and third time you watch it, you start to realize, hey, this is someone who moved far, far away from society, didn't want to have anything to do with anyone. And Gary saw their cabin and then went back to expose them to the world. Jeez, Gary, I thought you were such a nice guy. But this is basically where we end. We end with this footage being played and the reporter commenting on it. And, oh yeah, the sister had hired a detective whose big contribution is he appears there. He does nothing. I don't know why there was a detective. But anyway, so he talks to the camera at the end, I think. The reporter does for sure, talking about how all these vloggers are out there looking for Gary. They think they found it. They're going to do a big reveal next year. And the sister doesn't appear again because she's just too upset. Very helpful, this one. Now, I won't talk about the sequels because the sequels retroactively recontextualize everything we saw in the first movie. In this first movie, you get the sense of what Gary found as something that you could wrap your head around. And then in the sequels, they make it make less sense. On purpose. But yeah, we'll get into them later. I'll cover them in the future, I'm sure. Maybe I'll do a big roundup video at some point. But I think it's time now to get into the main question, the big question, the only question that matters. Should you watch it? If you have not seen Horror in the High Desert yet, then it's time. Watch it, however, with your phone put away and your full attention on screen. Because horror documentaries or mockumentaries really only work if you allow it to lull you into a false sense of security. The hypnosis in this movie is critical, so it does not work if you're playing video games at the same time. If you cannot give it all of your attention, don't watch. And also, like, the rewatch value on Horror in the High Desert just diminishes with every repeat viewing. I think I still really enjoyed it on the second watch. The third watch, it was just it was okay. And this fourth watch, it was work. So, if you've only seen it once, maybe you can watch it again, but that's it. I think by my fourth watch, I wasn't watching the movie anymore. I was speed running it. I played it at 2x speed. My best time, 41 minutes. Used the sister skip, any percent. Did pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I'm flipping back and forth between who should and shouldn't. But I think if you haven't seen it, you should see it. If you like desert photography, if you like ghost towns, lots of good photography in this. The landscape does so much heavy lifting. It should be in the credits. Honestly, it is like the main character, really. And the payoff is objectively well made. It's dark, it's creepy. The sound design. Oh, watch this with headphones. The sound design at the end comes out of nowhere. They say, like, good things come to those who wait. This movie makes you wait an hour and 2 minutes until you get to the spooky stuff. But to their credit, the thing you wait for here is good. In retrospect, the scariest feature in this movie has better manners than most people's relatives. He returns what isn't his, brings back the truck, brings back the bag, and he communicates clearly, oh yeah, he's passed away, see the hand, and respects boundaries, and he's terrifying, and he's great. But ultimately, Gary didn't find Horror in the High Desert. Gary was the Horror in the High Desert. At least that's my opinion. That's my hot take. Leave your comment describing why I'm so stupid. Go right ahead. Anyway, it is a classic, and so I hereby induct Horror in the High Desert into the sacred order of the first watch. Go now and be incredible just once. Long may you vanish into the ether, once viewed a single time. As for the rest of you, like, sub, super thanks, join, comment, hype. Every little click is a sin scrubbed off your soul, but if you really want to ascend, join the Patreon. I'm putting behind the scenes stuff there on a pretty regular basis. And anybody who joins here on the YouTube channel gets to see these videos a day or two early. Next up, we're doing Rec. Next up, we're doing Rec 2007, but I'm debating whether or not I'm going to do a roundup of all 4 Rec movies. I haven't actually seen the third and fourth because I hear things. I might do it anyway. So I don't know. It depends on how much time. I'm moving in a bit, and there's stuff going on with work, and it's hot out. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But no matter what, next movie we're doing Rec, at least the first one, and then we'll see what comes after that. However, if there's a movie you feel I should cover before that, leave a comment. I actually am not sure what movie I'm covering after that, because people have made suggestions, and I've got a lot of competing titles. There's The Devil's something or other. There's Hunting Matthew. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Hopefully I do all of them, I mean, in the due course of time, we're going to hit all of them. I mean, if I could get this channel big enough, I would do one of these almost every day. I freaking love it. So we'll see where it goes. Well, my friend, I think we've done another episode. I hope to see you again real soon. If you're not sick of me, check out the channel. I've been doing these for a while now. So there's a ton of reviews so far. More to come. See you next time.